When you first look at the BC interior and mountain region, the first thing you notice isn't just its physical beauty, but it's the people and the voices that bring the land to life. This region is home to a wide range of communities, from long-established indigenous nations to small mountain towns built on outdoor culture, resilience, and a strong sense of local identity. When you put all of these voices together, you get a picture of a region that is completely unique and diverse compared to anywhere else in Canada. A huge part of the BC interior's identity comes from the indigenous communities who have lived on these lands for thousands of years. There are around 200 indigenous reserves across British Columbia's mountain area, which is roughly 13% of all reserves in the province. This area is also home to many different nations whose people continue to practice their unique cultural traditions, languages, and community governance. Their deep connection to the land shapes how the region understands identity and belonging. In these regions, Indigenous voices aren't just an important part of our history, they are actively shaping how BC grows throughout even the present. Powwows, ceremonies, cultural education, and land-based programs all play important roles in preserving heritage and building community strength. When modern visitors travel through the interior today, they're stepping into territories where culture is still vibrant and lived every day. Alongside Indigenous communities, there are the other small towns and communities that help define the region's modern characteristics. Places like Invermere, Cranbrook, Elk Ford, and Kimberley all have unique identities that shape the surrounding areas. Invermere is known for its lake culture and arts community. Cranbrook has a strong railway history and growing outdoor tourism scene. Elk Ford is a small, quiet mountain town surrounded by wildlife and forests, while Kimberley blends mining history with skiing, hiking, and a quirky alpine-themed downtime. These towns represent the voices of the interior, people who value nature, adventure, and tight-knit community life. But to really understand why the BC interior is such a powerful and meaningful place, you have to look at the landscape itself. Towering mountain ranges like the Selkirks, Monachees, Purcells, and Rockies rise over valleys carved by ancient glaciers. There are wide lakes, vast rivers, thick forests, and dramatic canyons. Winters are snowy and long, while summers are hot and dry. In many ways, the land shapes everything, from how people live, to what they do for work, to what they do for fun. The geography of the region encourages an active lifestyle. Skiing, snowboarding, hiking, mountain biking, canoeing, fishing, and climbing are not just hobbies here. They are part of everyday life. Even the jobs are shaped by the land. Forestry, tourism, conservation, wildlife management, and mountain resort work all exist because of the geography of the region. And this is exactly why the BC interior would make the perfect final destination for the Amazing Race Canada reality show. The region's landscape offers natural challenges that are equally intense and visually breathtaking. Teams could be tested with mountain climbs, lake crossings, wildlife tracking, ski hill tasks, or navigation challenges through the forested terrain. The cultural element is just as strong. Indigenous communities, local towns, and outdoor-focused lifestyles give the finale emotional depth and meaning. The interior is not just beautiful, it's a place where stories, cultures, and landscapes come together, and for a show that celebrates the spirit of adventure and the diversity of Canada, there is simply no better place to finish the race.
The BC interior and mountain region has a history that blends thousands of years of Indigenous presence with dramatic moments of exploration, settlement, conflict, and cultural growth. Long before British Columbia became a province, nations like Saquopem, Okanagan, Inlakapomics, and Katanexka lived across the interior. Their histories include extensive trade networks, fishing practices, seasonal migrations, and cultural traditions that were deeply tied to the land. These aren't just early histories. They continue today in the languages, stories, and ceremonies that interior communities work hard to protect. For the people who live in the region now, honoring this history is an important part of identity and reconciliation. One of the biggest historic events in the region was the Cariboo Gold Rush in the late 1850s and 1860s. Thousands of miners poured into the interior searching for gold, transforming places like Barkerville into booming towns almost overnight. While it's often remembered as a time of excitement and opportunity, it has also come with serious consequences. Indigenous communities were pushed off their land, the environment was damaged, and colonial control spread rapidly. These scandalous sides of history matter because they explain current discussions around land, rights, treaties, and conservation. Another major historical event was the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway through the Rocky Mountains in the 1880s. The railway connected BC to the rest of Canada and opened up travel and trade across the interior. But this achievement also has a darker story. Chinese workers built some of the most dangerous sections of the track, were paid much less, and suffered terrible working conditions. Many died during the construction. Today, acknowledging both the achievement and the injustice is important to the region's identity and to the people who call it home. Beyond these major events, the interior's little histories also shape the region. Ranching communities in the Cariboo, orchard towns in the Okanagan, and logging settlements throughout the mountains created local cultures that still exist today. Rodeos, fall fairs, farmers markets, and community festivals built a strong sense of belonging in smaller towns where nature is also part of daily life. Celebrations like the Williams Lake Stampede, the Kamloops Powwow, and the Revelstoke ski events connect residents to both tradition and landscape. These events matter, not just because they attract visitors, but because they remind communities of who they are and what they value: heritage, land, and connection. All of these historical layers, ancient indigenous traditions, gold rush stories, railway achievements, and small-town cultures come together to make BC Interior the perfect final destination for the amazing race Canada. Few regions in the country offer such dramatic mix of natural challenges and cultural significance. Teams could race through mountain passes, explore historic sites like Barkerville, paddle river routes used for thousands of years, or complete challenges inspired by local ranching, skiing, or indigenous traditions. The region's mountains, lakes, and unique communities create high-energy visuals that match the intensity of the finale. And most importantly, ending the race in the interior would highlight a part of Canada where history and landscape work together to show the country at its most adventurous and meaningful. For the people who live there, what's most important is preserving their culture, respecting the land, and keeping their communities strong. The BC Interior's history isn't just something in the past, it shapes how residents see themselves today. That combination of beauty, culture, and meaning is exactly what would make the region a standout final stop for the amazing race Canada.